Hello, welcome. Welcome to Century Farmhouse. Welcome to the Century Farmhouse Kitchen. My name is Anne Marie Craig, and I'm the owner and founder of Century Farmhouse. And today we are going to be folding some cute little Victorian style, early Victorian style puzzle purse Valentines. Let me show you what I mean, and then I'll show you how we do it. Okay, let me just pop this down 1 second. There we go. Okay, so I created this cute little Valentine, and if we untie it, I've made a little envelope for it. Here's the little Valentine. Now, what's so much fun about these is that there's actually two little surprises inside. So if I open it, this is kind of an origami style fold. Here's one little surprise, a cute little design, right? You could write on here, "Be my Valentine." You could have a big heart. You could do whatever you really want in there. If you know fabulous calligraphy, you could do things with that as well. We open it all the way, and now we have a Valentine that has all kinds of pretty little designs on it and a message in the center. So this one's actually taken, this message is taken from a vintage Valentine. It says, and I've numbered these so you know what to read first. Number 1, may love's fairest flowerets encircle thy home, and lend thee their sweetness for years to come. Be my Valentine. Now, these beautiful little Valentines actually have their history the late 1700s to early 1800s, Victorian times, Victorian England. Although here in the States, they're given a beginning time of around that time and thought to be brought here by the Pennsylvania Germans and made primarily along the East Coast. Although I would not be surprised if this was a craft that was done far earlier than that in Europe, perhaps in the British Isles, whatever. So I have made a cute little envelope for it. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm going to set this aside. Now, let's start folding it. I'm going to talk to you about the materials that you need to make this Valentine. You need a piece of paper. That's about it, right? And then everything else is anything you want to use to embellish. I'm going to be using a few tools as I'm making this. I'm going to use a pencil. I'm going to use a ruler. And then I'm going to be using colored pencils and some pens, calligraphy pens, pens that I used for doing Zentangling and that kind of thing, just to use them to create the pretty designs on my Valentine. But really, the most important thing you need is a piece of paper. Now, this piece of paper needs to be cut into a perfect square. And when you are folding it, you are going to end up with a final product that is about 1/3 the height and width of what you start with. So if you have a 12-inch piece of paper, your final Valentine is going to be about 4 inches. If you have a 9-inch piece of paper, your final Valentine will be about 3 inches. For the sake of the size of what we're doing here and the size of the space I'm working with today, we're working with a Valentine that is going to ultimately be 2.5 inches. So this is 7.5 inches by 7.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to start with the pretty side down. And you can use any kind of paper. Maybe your paper even is plain on both sides. I'm going to mark 2.5 inches from the edge, just a tiny little pencil mark. I'll erase it later. And I'm going to do the same thing over here, because what I need to do now is fold this into thirds. So I'm going to take this edge, fold it up to those marks I made, lining up the edges along the edge so it folds perfectly. And then I'm going to make a nice strong fold. If you have a bone folder, that will work as well, but you don't need that. Now I'm going to open this fold up and take this edge and fold it right up to the first fold I made, lining up the edges. And now I have 3 columns. We're going to erase the little pencil marks we made before, wherever they are, tiny little things. All right, now I'm going to need to fold it again the other way so that we end up ultimately with 9 little squares. So I'm going to mark this again at 2.5 inches. You'll be marking it whatever your 1/3 size measure is, or eyeballing it and just folding it. You can be brave and do that if you want. There we go, line it up, fold it down, fold it again. There we go. Now I open it up and I have my 9 squares. All right, I don't need this anymore, except perhaps to erase my little marks, wherever they are. Okay, this I can put away. Now, we're going to continue to fold. Now I'm going to actually fold this corner to corner diagonally. Ooh, that doesn't match up real well here. Hang on, let's make this a little bit better fold here. Now, it's perfect here, perfect here. I must have something wrong. I'm actually going to snip this, where's my scissors, and get this perfect, because otherwise later on, I'm going to end up with a few little problems. I'm not quite sure why that did not end up perfect when I cut it on my rotary cutter. It should have. Okay, move this out of the way. All right, now I'm going to fold it in half diagonally the other way, okay? And this is all still with the in the inside, what will be the inside of my Valentine up. Now, the last final folds are going to be done on the opposite side. But do you see where these fold lines intersect? The center is going to be the center of our Valentine, where our main message is going to be when we're done. But we have an intersection of fold lines here on each corner of that. We are going to be folding diagonally again, but only up to that intersection. And it helps to also line up this line with this line right here. There we go. And we'll do that all the way around. So 4 folds in total. Sometimes you have to feel where they are. But again, I'm lining up this line with this line. Depending on the kind of paper you're working with, you will be able to see that more clearly than on some others. This is a little bit more difficult maybe because of the larger pattern on this paper. All right, so I folded it all the way around. Now I open it back up this direction. You can see it's already trying to fold together. What we need to do now is fold it so that we have almost a pinwheel shape. We have 4 flanking arms, if you will, coming out from a center fold. Now you see I'm right-handed, so I'm going to work from right to left, and I'm going to fold this corner, and the next box, I want that fold to fold toward the left. Okay, and I'm going to take this and move this one to the left. Sometimes you have to play with these folds a little bit. And you can see it's starting to come together. Take this one and fold it to the left. Okay, and this one. So now we just set it down, and you just sometimes have to play with this a little bit to get it to be where you want it to be. But if you start by pinching that corner and moving the fold to the left on the inside, if you're right-handed, that works really well. I'm going to make sure all of these folds are nice and tight. And then we're going to begin by folding these arms in. And now I'm going to fold over the bottom and up over the bottom. And now we have a little pocket right here. I'm going to tuck this corner into that pocket. If you find you don't have that pocket at the end, you fold it in the other direction, just unfold it and start again. It folds together really easily. And you just tuck it in there. And we have a pocket purse. There we go. All right. So it's easily opened up. Now, when you're going to decorate it, you're going to want to start decorating this first and decorate this as a whole picture. Because what you're going to get then, when you open it, is that whole picture and then more of a picture on the inside. Okay, and you can decorate it as sparingly or as wildly as you'd like to. You can have it say things, be my Valentine. You can use calligraphy. You can use whatever you want on this to make it special. All right, now let's make an envelope for this cute little Valentine. And to do that, this paper was originally 12 inches by 12 inches. And when I cut it, I ended up with a scrap. This I don't even have to adjust at all. I'm going to set my Valentine on it and try to figure out where about it will be sitting in the center. And I want to pull this back a little bit, so I'm making it bigger than the Valentine. Lining up the corners. All right. Now, for this, I'm also using some crafter's tape. This is like a glue dot. You can use regular glue if you want to. You can use glue sticks, whatever you have available. You don't need anything really super specific for your envelope. And by the way, I am using a contrasting paper, but then I took a little bit of this same paper to put a contrast on the envelope itself. So it makes it a little bit more special, just as I did with this one. We have the green. I have a green band on the bottom. It just gives it a little bit more interest. Okay, so now I have folded it that direction. Now I want to make sure that this Valentine is going to fit in here all the way. So we're not going to be folding this all the way to this edge. We need to overlap it. This is going to overlap maybe about 3/4 of an inch. And since I have a pattern on this actually of stripes, I want to line that up and make that look like the stripes are continuing. Okay, I folded it. I'm now going to take my glue dot runner and I'm going to go right along the edge of that and fold it. There we go. This should fit right in, and it does. So now what I need to do is add the band at the bottom. This is about 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to fold it wide and a little bit longer than my envelope, but that's okay. We're going to do the trim at the end. So I'm going to fold this in half the long way. Think of it as seam binding if you do sewing. All right. Now, I do want the glue to be right on the edge because I don't want that edge peeking up. So I'm going to take this glue dot runner and go right along the edge on both sides. And then I'm going to tuck my envelope right up to that fold. So the bottom of the envelope goes to the fold. So it's neat on both sides. There we go. And fold it up. Now we've got the bottom edge and it is sealed so that the Valentine will not pop out. So now I'm just going to cut these edges off. And we have a cute little, binding on the bottom. Now, I'm going to also cut the top. I have a fancy little scissors. You may have a fancy scissors you want to use. Maybe you want to even cut it in a design. You might have a Cricut cutter that will allow you to do something more fancy. I tend to do things simply, but I still want it to be pretty. So I'm going to cut that along the edge, and I have got a hole punch that punches a very teeny tiny hole, and I'm going to, ooh, that wasn't very straight, was it? Well, let's come back and let's try that again. A little better. Okay, so this makes a very teeny tiny hole. I'm going to come to the center. I'm going to punch a little hole in here. This Valentine will fit right in there. And now I'm going to use a piece of, this is crochet thread, and pop that right through the hole on both of them. And then I will tie that into a pretty little bow, and my Valentine is sealed and ready to give once, of course, I have decorated it. So that's how I make the Valentine envelope. You may make the envelope however you'd like, but I found that this is quite cute. And we have a cute little red bow on top. There we go. Puzzle Purse Valentines, envelopes ready to give. What could you ask for but a more perfect, cute little Valentine to give? And you know, there's enough space in here that you could pop some chocolate in there as well and really make it a cute little gift. Thanks for joining me. I hope you had a lot of fun learning how to do that little Valentine, and maybe we can get together again for another fun time. Take care and have fun making that Valentine.